In order of protocol, first and foremost, and he will come back up and speak, our esteemed County Executive, Ed Romaine. Without whose drive and push on this, this would not have happened today. And I'd like to introduce one or two other people on his staff. Sarah Lansdale, who's trying to take his picture. Raise your hand. And we have two county legislators. We have many here today, and they'll all be recognized, but two.
We actually have three.
Excuse me?
We have three legislators here.
Okay. We have Jim Mazzarella, Ann Welker from the South Fork, and Catherine Stark from over here on the North Fork. Without these three pushing it when it got on the floor of the legislature, we wouldn't have it today. So let me proceed with some of the who the elected officials are. We're in the village of Greenport, so we're going to skip protocol. You legislators can hold your powder for a second. I'd like to introduce the mayor of Greenport, Mayor Kevin Stussy. Thank you, Mayor. And all of his board is here. Deputy Mayor Pat Brennan, Mary Bess Phillips, who has been in the seafood business her whole life and still is. Trustee Lily Doherty Johnson. Where is Lily Doherty Johnson? I was told she was here. And Julia Robbins. That's the Village of Greenport's board. Thank you again, Mayor, for being the host today. We'll go to the county legislature. There's so many of them. I introduced the three that are up here on the front. Chad Lennon, his representatives here. Are there any other legislators here that came in late and somebody didn't take you in attendance? We thank all of you. This bill passed unanimously. Both sides of the aisle voted for it. So thank you to all of them. We have representatives of Senator Palumbo's office and Assemblyman Tommy John Scavone's office. Both of them are here as well. We're in the town of Southold, and I'd like to introduce my old friend Al Krupski. Where are you, Al? Not that Al's old, but where is he? Al? Supervisor Krupski. Councilman Brian O'Mealy. Where are you? Okay, Brian's waving. And Greg Dorowski. Thank you all. East Hampton Town, Supervisor Kathy Burke-Gonzalez. Is she here? Huh? She's on the ferry. Okay. And Councilman David Lease. Is Dave here? There he is. Hi, Dave. Dave has also been very instrumental in pushing this, and thank you. Well, we'll jump around a little bit. We know Southampton and East Hampton have trustees in addition to the village board members. So the president of, I guess he's the president of the Southampton trustees is here, Scott Horowitz. Now, those of us who live up in the more civilized part of the county don't know what you guys do, but who are you? I couldn't hear you, ma'am.
Southold Town trustees.
And?
Elizabeth.
Oh, okay, Elizabeth Peoples. Thank you for raising your hand. Thank you very much. Let's see who else we've got here. I think we've covered most of the electeds, unless any elected officials were not announced. Okay. Also like to introduce and thank the stakeholders or the industry folks that are here. My dear friend Bonnie Brady just swam across from Shelter Island and she's here. Bonnie came in from Montauk. Bonnie's family are partners in Inlet Seafood Restaurant and Dock, and also Bonnie's the executive director of the New York Commercial Fishing Association, huh? Long Island, I always get mixed up. Okay, I'm close. Longtime friend and fellow lobbyist in D.C. Stand up. Karen Rivara, she owned Eros Aquaculture for many, many years. The Suffolk County Aquaculture Leasing Program would not be in existence if it wasn't for this woman. So thank you. Joyce Novak of Peconic Estuaries here. Bill Zalakar, where's Bill? Bill Zalakar from the Farm Bureau is here. Mike and Isabella Sinski from Widow's Hole Oyster right around the corner. Thank you. Eric, where's Eric from Lyoga? There he is in the back. Come on, Eric, so they can see you. Eric Coppell is an oyster grower in Mattituck, but he's also the president of the Long Island Oyster Growers Association, which is becoming a very influential, as long as he's not throwing bombs at other towns, it's an influential organization. He'll know what I'm talking about. Cliff Clark and Britton Clark, where are you folks? Here they are.
South Ferry.
The South Ferry folks, thank you for coming. Bridge Hunt and John McCallick.
North Ferry.
North Ferry, where are you folks? Right here. Josh Halsey. What's that?
Conic Land Trust.
Peconic Land Trust. And anybody else that I've missed? Who was that? There he is from Farm. Okay, there he is, Mr. Gilligan. So thank you very much.
We had Aaron Kimmel and Dave Abatelli and Sarah Sands from the Seaport Museum.
Thank you for helping to host this event today. We appreciate it.
And I know we have Brian Tuthill and Phil Mastrangelo from Oyster Pond.
Where's Phil? Hey, Phil. I know Phil a long time. Hey, Phil, how are you? So the Tuthill family's been involved with the seafood industry for hundreds of years here on Long Island, so thank you very much. Huh?
Chris Pickerel.
Oh, geez, and I'm going to lunch with him afterwards, and he's just smiling. He's not saying a word. Longtime friend, the director of the Cornell Cooperative Extension Marine Bureau, Chris Pickerel. Raise your hand. Who? How are you, Mayor? Nice to see you. Thank you very much. I used to always go by your store and look at the stuff in the window. So thank you very much. So I think we've covered everyone. If we've missed anyone, where are you? Oh, hi. How are you? Thank you for coming over on the ferry too. Okay. So here's what we're going to do here, folks. As you can see, there's a lot of people. A lot of people would like to get in the pictures when the county executive signs this. Going to be some brief remarks by the county executive, the three legislators up here. Then I'll take over. The mayor's going to have a couple of words. Bonnie's going to have a couple of words. Karen's going to say a couple of words, and I'm going to close it up, and then we're going to go to the bill signing. So we're going to kind of move it along. That was the longest part of the whole program, so thank you for indulging. Happy to introduce my friend Ed Romaine.
Well, this is a great day for the East End and for Suffolk County. 50 years ago, the second county executive of Suffolk County, John V. N. Klein, looked and watched farmland begin to disappear. And he understood the necessity of trying to save our farmland and came up with a program called Farmland Development Rights. Farmers would still own their land, but they would sell the development rights and therefore would stay in farming forever. Well, that concept has worked great for the last 50 years, and we've preserved well over 12,000 acres of farmland through that program. Well, we began to look at our waterfront, and we began to see that a lot of our working waterfront was disappearing because of the attraction of real estate to building condos, homes, or other things there, restaurants, etc., on our waterfront. And if we let that continue, we may not have as successful a working waterfront as we have today. The largest fishing fleet in the state of New York comes out of Montauk, and the second largest out of Shinnecock, and the third largest out of Greenport. And if you look, the first boat you see is the Illusion, and that's Mary Beth Phillips' boat, who I've known for many, many, many years. And it's there because her husband's out fishing on a larger boat. But we need working waterfronts to encourage those in the oyster business, to encourage those growing kelp, to encourage those who are fishing, all those who earn their living by the sea. If we do not have a working waterfront, if all that land is purchased and used for other things, we're going to miss out on one of the heritage industries of this county. So, my deepest thanks to the legislators standing here, particularly Ms. Stark, who has worked very hard on this, and Ann Weckler, who's worked. Thank you. And to Jimmy Mazzarelli, who helped, and to all the legislators that supported this. And this is something that we can all get behind, whether you're a supervisor of Southold or the head of the trustees in Southampton or wherever you're from, because we all need, particularly on the East End, a working waterfront. Now, Tom is emceeing this, and one of the fleets that used to be big was where he was trustee in the village of Northport, much further east, and west. And that village used to be large on lobstering until we had a lobster die-off in the Long Island Sound. So we have to work not only on preserving our waterfront, but preserving our environment, cleaning our waters, and making sure they're working. And I want to mention Miss Younks, Jennifer. Jennifer Younks is the Deputy County Executive, and she helps all of us with the environment because that's her bailiwick. So when I have an environmental issue, I go right to Jennifer and we get it done. But I want to thank these legislators. Their leadership made it happen. So I can't wait to sign this bill, and I can't wait for other bills to come forward to help us invest in preserving our environment, cleaning our waterways, and doing the right thing for the future of Suffolk County. Thank you.
Ed, thank you very much. Next up, Catherine Stark, and this is her turf. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Tom. And thank you, everybody, for coming out today. I really appreciate it. So good morning. Today is an important day for Suffolk County as we sign into law the Working Waterfronts Bill. This legislation is an investment in our economy, our maritime traditions, and in the future of the East End and the rest of Suffolk County. For generations, families have made their living on the water. Fishing, aquaculture, boat building, and marine repair all have been essential to our way of life. These industries employ more than 38,000 residents and support nearly 3,000 businesses. They generate $3 billion in revenue for Suffolk County each year. $1.5 billion of those dollars is direct salaries to our residents. We also know that they face growing challenges, from competition for valuable waterfront property to the loss of access to docks and boatyards. This new law provides real protection by preserving more than the 2,400 acres of commercial waterfront available. We will ensure that it remains dedicated to the maritime uses. Modeled after our farmland preservation program, it allows the county to purchase development rights so that the land stays in private hands but remains available for working waterfront purposes in perpetuity. This is about protecting jobs, small businesses, and a heritage that is central to who we are. I want to thank Legislator Ann Weckler for her partnership in this effort. From the start, she's been a true leader and a collaborator moving this bill forward. I also want to thank our County Executive, Ed Romaine, for his strong support and vision. He has long recognized the importance of protecting these industries and preserving access to the water. I also want to acknowledge my colleagues from the Suffolk County Legislature. The fact that this measure passed unanimously shows how deeply we value our maritime economy and the people whose livelihoods depend on it. With $9.5 million dedicated in funding and the creation of a 17-member working waterfront committee, this program will be carefully managed to ensure that these properties remain a vital part of our economy. This is a proud day for Suffolk County. By acting now, we are safeguarding our working waterfronts for today's businesses and for generations to come. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Legislator Welker.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's super to see all of you here. As the Suffolk County Legislator for the 2nd District, which stretches from Montauk Point to nearly Mauritius Inlet, it includes, as County Exec Romaine stated, the 2 largest fishing ports in New York State, Montauk and Shinnecock. I'm thrilled to be standing here with you today on the occasion of the bill signing of IR 1520, Conserving Working Waterfront. It's wonderful to be part of a gathering filled with hope. This is a day that's filled with hope. I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues on the South Fork, Town Supervisor Kathy Burke-Gonzalez, who's here with us today from East Hampton, David Lease, member of the town board, and to the remainder of the town board in East Hampton. We're so grateful for their support. Also, Supervisor Maria Moore from Southampton, who could not be with us today, but also is firmly in support of this bill. Assemblyman Tommy John Scavone, while not able to be with us, sent a representative and had these words to share. Protecting our working waterfronts is essential to preserving both the character and the economy of Suffolk County and the 1st Assembly District. The legislation passed today, signed today, will help ensure that our boatyards, our fisheries, and our marine trades continue to provide good jobs, fresh food, and a deep connection to our maritime heritage. By taking this step, we're committed to preserving the historic industry for generations to come. We stand here today thanks to the vision of our county exec, Romaine. It was his vision to create this protection for working waterfront after reading about the plight of the ice house at the dock at Gosman's in Montauk. We're also standing here today in the spirit of collaboration. Each of you has played some piece in this, but I'd especially like to give a shout out to the Commissioner of Economic Development and Planning, Sarah Lansdale, and her fabulous team. This spirit of collaboration was empowered by so many of you, listed before by Tom Kehoe. Thank you from the deepest places of our heart to each of you for this. We could not have done this without all of you who filled out the survey, who came and speak, driving all the way from East Hampton or Springs to Hauppauge to come and speak at committee meetings and our general sessions, who called, who wrote, who emailed, and participated also in the Working Waterfront Working Group meetings. This was truly an amazing collaboration. Today, we shine a light on our future as we stand where sea, sky, and shorelines meet, honoring Suffolk County's farming and fishing history while looking forward with hope to what lies ahead due to the power of this groundbreaking legislation. Thank you to each of you for this momentous day. I'd like to introduce my colleague, the chairman of the Economic and Development,
You're up, Jim.
Jim Mazzarella.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Catherine. And congratulations to you, Catherine, the sponsor of this bill. And again, the leadership of our County Executive, Ed Romaine, does not go unnoticed when it comes to preservation. This is just a small piece of the preservation that has taken place in this county over the decades, and I think Supervisor Krupski can be attest to that. But without talking about the actual working waterfront, I think what brings us all here is something similar to what I've experienced. And I grew up on the Moriches Bay, drag netting for bait fish, bamboo poling for snappers, treading for clams, body surfing in the ocean, and the connection as Long Islanders to the working waterfront in our communities is unparalleled. That's who we are. I know that's who I am. And really, for me, just to be here today, it gives me great privilege as the chairman of economic development, and it goes without saying, the staff and the commissioner of that department deserve so much credit for putting this all together. It's very detailed, and it requires a lot of work. But really, I'm just here to say that I'm privileged and I'm happy that I could be here on this day as an elected official, having grown up on the waterfront and knowing what our waterfront means to all of us, to our families, and to our economy and to our environment. So thank you very much.
Introducing the mayor.
And I'm bringing up Kevin Stussy, the mayor. Is it Stussy or is it Stussy?
Stussy.
Stussy. All right,
Thank
Kevin.
you. Appreciate it. Wow, what a wonderful day. I'm so thrilled to be here with everybody else and celebrating this momentous occasion in the village of Greenport. Greenport has always been about community and bringing people together, and we are so fortunate to be here today under the guidance of our county executive, Mr. Ed Romaine, who has been a huge champion of this, together with legislators Stark and Welker, to make this moment happen. And without the diligence of Commissioner Lansdale, none of us would be here. It is a momentous day. Enjoy the wonderful sunshine, enjoy the companionship. So happy to see so many people here, and we are very much looking forward to doing more on preservation of historic waterfront and water quality through this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now I'd like to bring up Bonnie Brady, whose family are partners in Inlet Seafood Dock and Restaurant in Montauk. And if you've never gone there, it's pretty good fish. And she's also the president or director of the Long Island Commercial Fishing Association and a staunch advocate for pretty much anything that's going on in the Northeast that has to do with seafood. So Bonnie.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. We lucked out with a beautiful day. Sorry I was a little late to the party. I'm Bonnie Brady. I'm the executive director, Tom, of the Long Island Commercial Fishing Association. Today marks a turning point. Since the 1800s, Long Island fishermen have been shipping fish into New York City, packing their catch in wooden crates and sending it by rail from Suffolk County to the Fulton Street Fish Market. For over 300 years, commercial fishing has helped feed Long Island, New York, and the nation. But when we lose access to ice, fuel, a place to pack our fish, and fix our vessels, we risk losing something much deeper: our ability to work and provide food for our neighbors, our state, and our nation, and to pass this way of life on to the next generation. Long Island is a patchwork quilt of fishing communities, tied together by feeding people and creating generational jobs. Most people on Long Island know a commercial fisherman, whether he fishes in the bay, the sound, or the ocean, firsthand as a neighbor, a friend, or a relative. This working waterfront legislation is more than just a policy. It is a promise that Suffolk County stands with the men and women who harvest wild, local seafood and keep coastal communities alive. I want to say thank you very much to County Executive Ed Romaine for his leadership on this initiative, the entire Suffolk County Legislature, especially legislators Stark and Welker and Mazzarella. Thank you for spearheading this effort, along with county staff Sarah Lansdale and Rob Carpenter, who we could not have done this without, and every member of our working group who helped get this across the finish line. It is truly appreciated. Thank you very much for coming.
That's the briefest I've ever heard you.
I timed myself. I timed it.
And now someone, as I introduced earlier, who deeply vested in the waterfront issues and the waterfront business here on Long Island. I'm not going to speak out of turn. Karen was a biologist with the old Blue Points company many, many years ago when they were still in operation. Most recently sold Eros Aquaculture that she owned for many years in the Cutjug property that was John Clark's, right?
Southwold property, yeah.
Right. So Karen and I used to go to Washington, D.C. several times a year to lobby Congress, and she's extremely knowledgeable, very passionate, and Karen Ravar.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Tom. I really appreciate it. It's probably going to be longer than my speech, so much appreciated. I've worked with Tom a long time. We went to D.C., as he mentioned, lobbying for shellfish aquaculture rights. I'd like to start by thanking County Executive Ed Romaine for his leadership and vision on this, and also for legislators Stark, Welker, and Mazzarella for their involvement and leadership. And I'd like to also give a shout out to Commissioner Lansdale for her work on leading my fellow members on the waterfront working group. It was a lot of work that was done by a lot of people, and I just want to thank everybody because this is a very, very important piece of legislation. I began my search for working waterfront 35 years ago when I was working at the Blue Points company. And it took me until 2000 to be able to establish my farm at the Peconic Land Trust Shellfisher Preserve in Southold, which is property that the Land Trust had the vision to preserve for working waterfront for aquaculture. And so I leased there from 2000 until I sold the company in 2023. In 2010, the Suffolk County legislature passed the enabling legislation for the Peconic, what we call the Peconic Aquaculture Program, but it's a Suffolk County Aquaculture Lease Program, and that enabled many people to come into the business and start their own shellfish farms. And I believe there are somewhere between 30 and 40 shellfish farms in the Peconic estuary now, where there were maybe 5 when the program started. So that has introduced a lot of people and provided opportunity for a lot of people to come into the shellfish aquaculture industry. This legislation will now give the hope to those folks that they can establish a business, as I did, on working waterfront that's been preserved for traditional use of commercial fishing and aquaculture, because as Bonnie said, we need a place to dock our boats, unload, pack out, and store our product to send it into market so we can feed people from the east end of Long Island and beyond Manhattan. So I am going to stop talking because I am super stoked to watch. I know that's not professional, but I'm very, very excited to watch County Executive Romaine sign this bill. It really, really means a lot to me, and it means a lot to my fellow shellfish growers and colleagues in the fishing industry. So once again, thank you to all those who made it happen.
Our heritage here on Long Island goes back to the early colonies, and again, my friend Chris, who I didn't introduce properly, is a great historian of Long Island. When the first settlers came here in the 1600s, they saw the Onkachugs and the Shinnecocks killing whales when the whales swam close to the shore, and they said, that looks like a good idea, and it was one of the embryonic stages of whaling. And Sag Harbor, along with Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard and New Bedford, became one of the principal whaling capitals in the world. And but Greenport, Mr. Mayor, was kind of down here. But yes, and Greenport. And but that was the beginning of what, as I said earlier, Bonnie's family's part owners in Inlet Dock. But you have families like the Gosmans, the Pells. I mean, Bill Pell Sr. had Al Krupski's job and the mayor's job out here in Southold when he had a dock here in Greenport, Shinnecock, and Montauk, and was one of the biggest buyers of fish probably on the East Coast.
And now his son.
And now his son, Bill Jr., who's not a junior anymore, is on the town board in Southampton. But he was a trustee with Mr. Horowitz, and now he's a dear friend of mine for many years. So, in fact, Billy couldn't be here because he's down in Antigua at some wedding reception. But anyhow, excuse me? Yeah, she's here. What's your name, ma'am? Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Tell him we recognized him, all right? 50 years ago, the North Fork was primarily cabbage, cauliflower, and what? And potatoes. There was a potato industry here on Long Island. We don't have it anymore. And I remember when Alyssa Hargrave, and Mudd put the first vineyards in, and we said, they're crazy. Now look. But it was Ed's predecessor, Jonathan Klein, county executive 55 years ago, started farmland preservation. What would we have had here? We'd probably have condos. No cauliflower, cabbage, or potatoes, but condominium housing complexes all over the North Fork. That meant Ed's predecessor had the vision to stop that, let people sell the development rights. So a lot of these second, third, fourth generation farms are doing well, and their farms can no longer be developed into condos. Well, that's the purpose of this legislation. My end of the county, we don't have many commercial docks like this. We have pleasure boats, yachts, it's a different, but all those waterfronts are still eligible. So, and when we started talking about this, Sarah was the one that said, why don't we include everybody in the county, all the waterfronts, on the South Shore, Mauritius, and Mastic, and anywhere there's a waterfront, Babylon. So here we are. It's one shoe fits everybody. Some of the towns up west don't have the set-asides out of the transactions, property transactions that Southampton and East Hampton have, but I bet you this is going to be a motivator to get them to do it. You've heard enough accolades about this. This is going to be, as this goes on in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, it's going to preserve what you see here now. What you're looking at now, your grandkids are going to be able to look at. And that's what it's all about, gang. This was a bipartisan push, again, thanks to Jim, and came out of his committee. You've heard the old thing, well, they pigeonholed it in the committee. Well, he didn't pigeonhole it in his committee. He put it out on the floor with great support from the Dems and the Republicans, and here we are.